Right, back in 2004, 5, 6, when we were looking, the problem that we were facing is that our customers were demanding to trade electronically. Across Europe in the different divisions, different business entities, we were already providing CSV files, Excel files, and all manner of ad hoc reporting. And the demand for this was increasing. As a result of the way that DHL had grown, and by acquisition, we had multiple legal, multiple operational entities in each country, which also meant that we had multiple billing systems. Across the European landscape, we had approximately 88 different billing systems at the last count. That presented us some challenges for our customers as well. They received many invoices, different formats, different types of information, different protocols, etc., etc. So despite our branding, which was consistent and bright yellow and harmonious, the invoices weren't. And most of them, or probably all of them at that time, were still delivered by post in the paper format, with the inherent costs and delays that incurred. And I have to say that's everywhere except Germany, where the post is ultra efficient, and it's a fantastic service, primarily because that's our parent company. At the time we were looking to solve this problem, yes, we were looking for how we could automate our CSV and the distribution of the XLS files, but we also noticed that there was an EU directive that had to be implemented into local legislation by the end of 2004, just after we were looking, that said the member states had to accept invoices in the electronic form. And this was the biggest barrier that we had to overcome. It was always the traditional issue that, yes, we like the electronic data, but we still need the paper invoice for tax purposes. You still get that argument today, but because of this directive and the legislation, we can now counter it. So with that as a backdrop, we started on a project to use some existing functionality and architecture to build on that to meet all of our existing needs as we saw them and anticipate some future requirements as well. Send the PDF out as an attachment to the email. Every customer that registers gets this. It's the digitally signed PDF that is the legal invoice. That has replaced the paper invoice, or should replace the paper invoice, so that gets emailed out to all customers. On the email, there's an opportunity to get back to the hub, where the invoice is also posted, so the customers can go back and see the history of all of their invoices on the hub. But there's also an opportunity for us to add some marketing in there as well. At the moment, it's a simple banner that reinforces our current campaign, but ultimately, as we get more and more customers on board, we can be intelligent and start to tailor messages to each of those customers depending on, for example, lapsed markets, opportunities, discount vouchers, etc., etc. But at the moment, it's a simple standard message. That's an opportunity that we can look forward to playing with when we get much higher conversion, which will give us much more benefits. So everybody gets the email with the invoice attached. If they go onto the hub, they can start to do some other things. They can re-download the PDF if they want. They can download the CSV format of the file. They can also download XML and EBXML, so they can access the data. And again, we've moved on a bit since this time. For customers that want that information all of the time, we can also email that out simultaneously. And it depends how then the customer wants to work with us. They can either receive them via email or they can download them from the hub. And very soon, due to a request from the UK, they'll be able to bulk download multiple invoices at the same time in several of these formats and consolidate the information. So if they wanted to look for a whole month, they could a whole month's worth of invoices, they will be able to download them in one file format to do their analysis, not necessarily payment. So that's how we started. It was originally just, okay, an e-invoice is cheaper and more efficient than a paper invoice or a P-invoice, so we'll just replace it. And initially, we even matched the existing format and did nothing more than that, just swapped over it. It was paper, it's now electronic. But we started to realise that people were using the hub. They were logging on and registering before we'd even publicised it. They were using the thing evenings and weekends and all, hours that suited them rather than working to our time. So we started to expand the functionality. We get quite a few queries. I think it's still 20 to 30,000 invoice inquiries per month in the UK. You multiply that across Europe, it's quite a large number of calls that people are handling. This gives the customer the opportunity, whilst they're reviewing their invoice, to say, there's something wrong with that, I want to log a query. The drop-down box gives them an opportunity to tell us what kind of query it is, and then depending on which one they've selected, we'll capture the pertinent information to that. That gets fed back automatically into our processes that handle the query as is, and then when it's resolved, feedback is given to the customer as well. Again, it's not rocket science, but it does mean the big advantage that we hadn't foreseen was that customers can do this when it suits them, when they're reviewing their invoice and not having to call us when our call centre's open. We can get those, process them and deal with them at a time that suits us as well. Going on from that, quite a large number of our inquiries were about copy documentation. I think that last time I looked, it was about half of the inquiries were for copy documentation, and of that half, it was half and half again for a copy invoice. Well, we've already said they've got access to their invoice now 24/7 on the hub, so they shouldn't have to phone up for a copy invoice. The other half were for copy airway bills. An airway bill in our world is your contract per shipment. It's your shipping document that says where it's going from, what it's going to, and it's got a unique reference, and we bill by that unique reference. So we expanded the functionality that when somebody is looking at a PDF on the hub, not on the email, it won't work with the email for security reasons, but if they're reviewing their invoice on the hub, they don't like the look of one of the transactions, if they click that airway bill number, they get back the backup documentation. So the benefits, I've alluded to most of them as we talk through the functionality, but we can reduce the number of paper invoices. That reduces the paper, that reduces the postage, that reduces the printing costs, but there's also the sustainability element there as well. Reduces the CO2 emissions of transporting paper, producing paper. The amount of oil that's involved in producing that paper as well was quite shocking. So some big benefits there. An e-invoice is cheaper than a P-invoice. We can reduce the number of incoming queries for copy invoice and for copy airway bills, and soon we'll be able to hopefully provide track and trace information as well as the airway bill information and customs documentation as well. So all of those calls that we don't have to take should benefit us as well. Through the solution, we can send the invoice to multiple people, multiple parties, and this is, we can have, I don't think there's an upper limit on how many email addresses you can add for an account for those people to receive the email. Now, again, it's particularly useful if you have cost centre managers that need a copy of the invoice, a shipping manager, the accounts person, plus perhaps somebody that's in a shared service centre that may be in a different country, possibly on a different continent, all delivered simultaneously. So we have a faster, more accurate delivery of invoices. It's not a more accurate invoice, it's more accurate delivery of invoices. We can deliver to all of those people instantly. I would think it's fair to say that the 98% of our invoices are delivered within 24 hours of leaving the billing system, which we couldn't say was the same for the postal solution. We can kind of prove that we've delivered the invoice. We can't do it technically, but if we know it's emailed and it's emailed to multiple parties and we know they've got access to it online in the hub 24/7, there shouldn't be a way they can turn around and say, we haven't got the invoice, so we're not paying it. So they have no excuse to hide behind anymore. And all of that, we believe, has led to a reduction in how long it takes us to get paid. I think, again, the last time we were measuring in the UK, it was between 1 and 2 days. 2 days now, just been signalled, or was that was the right way round, was it? Okay, 2 days. So again, we're starting to see that it's always difficult with an improvement like that to say whether it's because of the kind of customers that have gone on e-billing or whether e-billing has led to that result. But anyway, it's a positive result, and we're reducing our costs as well. Plus, there's some other softer side, the marketing I talked about. We can do some data mining on our customers. It's another way to get a message to them. And we've countered an argument that we quite often hit at RFQ is that I want electronic data, I want e-billing, or I want EDI, and we couldn't deliver it consistently, maybe from one country or from one business unit, but not across Europe, which was a big bugbear with our customers. That argument's gone. And then we start to make it easier for our customers to use. They don't have to use IVR, they don't have to phone up during office hours, they can do their dispute initiation, get their own backup documents, access their historical documents at a time and place that suits them. Which leads me into the benefits for the customer. It was a true win-win. For the customers, they have the electronic data that they can manipulate and can process or upload to their AP system. It's a lot easier for them to distribute and circulate that information electronically. Geography is no barrier there. So it reduces their input costs, it reduces their handling costs, it reduces their archiving costs as well. For them, it should improve their AP processing quality, which is why there's the other data work stream within Accountis that looks at e-invoicing inbound as well. If you can get that data electronically, if you can upload it automatically without any errors and process it quickly and automatically, then that's a big advantage to them as well. Plus, they have transparency on their invoices. Soon they'll be able to do data analysis on those invoices as well. And key, particularly for some of the people that have been here, if not today, then the last couple of days, sustainability. I know within the banking environment we were pushed by large numbers of our customers wanted e-billing, not necessarily for any of those other benefits, but because of the impact on the environment as well. So that's a key angle that we come from there.